Good morning, everyone. Happy, what's the day? Thursday. It's SME SOS, the life raft for small businesses when things are tough. And today we are going to be covering another juicy subject. Yesterday we were rewiring, weren't we? And today we're going to be talking about pivoting our business. Now, I know it's the P word, everyone, okay? Pivoting. There's some words that we just never want to hear about again. Furloughing, pivoting, COVID, masks, vaccines. I know that. So we're going to talk about sort of the new era of pivoting. And it's more about changing the dial, right? Moving the dial on your businesses. Okay. So, but in a sense, it's about the responsibility of ourselves. When we can talk about the external world and what it can do to us, we're going to talk about the fact that actually we might need to take a look in the mirror. But that's not it. We're also going to be bringing on two of the amazing community members. We have got Will, founder of Lilian May's Studio, and lovely Rebecca, founder of Honeywell Bakes. They're going to be opening up about when things have not gone right for them, when they have created things that haven't worked or created new things to better amplify what they do, right? So we're going to be talking about this. We're also going to be talking about what you need to know in yesterday's budget. So basically, if you didn't have that hour to spend listening to Rishi, we have just bullet pointed. I think it's the top 5 things that you need to know. And also we have the latest update on Instagram. So there were some changes which actually might be music to your ears. So do stay tuned because we're going to be telling you what those changes are and what you can do today to interact with those changes. And of course, I'll be answering any questions that you have. Remember, as ever, if you do not ask the question, I can't answer it. So as much as I know things are frustrating at the moment, we can all have a good rant, and I won't rant away. I love a rant. But actually, if you want to form a question, just do put it in a question format for us so that it's easy for us either to answer today or I will be getting to it tomorrow or the next day. Remember, SME SOS is back for at least 2.5 weeks, okay? Every single day between 10 and 11. Right, so what are we talking about today? Main thing. Also, I forgot something. I'm going to just touch on time management, everyone. Because we're going to do a session on time management in the future, but I can't sort of rest on these things. So quite a few people mentioned time management yesterday. Let me tell you how I sort it out. I want to get my notepad here, but I'll get it in a minute. I'll take a picture later on stories. So the thing is that we have this time in the day, and when things aren't going right, it actually, literally, what did Kate say? It actually becomes overwhelming. So we have so many things to do. We have so many thoughts in our minds about what we could do. We then have urgents, a customer complaint, a new product coming in, a product not coming in, a menu to create, whatever it is. We have those things that are urgent today. So one of the things I would say, if SME SOS, if this moment in time is going to be a pivotal change in your business, where we're going to pull our socks up, we're going to work our muscles, and we're going to head into Easter a better version of ourselves, then try this out. This is what I always do, have done for at least a decade. When the overwhelm happens, I have to take a moment and I get my Post-it notes out and I take a wall and I write down every single, small, medium and large, everything that's in my mind. So that can be from the customer complaint that you have to deal with, to the fact that you should be working on Christmas, to the fact that you've got your premises is about to kick you out, to the fact that you haven't got any insurance. I don't know, whatever those things are, I want you to put them, every single thing, on the wall. Then go make yourself a cup of tea, right? Because this is a big moment. You've got everything that's in here out. And a lot of the times I literally say to my team, help me, I'm not sleeping, I can't do this. You need to extract what's in here. And I always think of a syringe. It's actually quite a gross sort of analogy, but there you go. A syringe, going into my head, potentially, and they're sucking out everything that's driving me nuts up here. Once you've got everything on there, what I like you to do is order them into things that will make my business stronger, future thinking, the future planning innovation, right? Put all those post-it notes into one. I'd like you to order admin, absolute shit that you just have to deal with, okay? So insurance, I've got to renew that goddamn insurance, right? If we have a flood again, I'm not going to be insured, and etc. Put it all your admin. And then I'd like you to almost put together the classic to-do list, right? Stuff that's on your mind every day, needs to get done, and it's there. 3 things. Future drives the ship forward, moves the ship forward. You've got your classic to-do list candidates, right? And then you've just got admin. In those 3 things, then I'd like you to only pick 3 of those post-it notes a day of the future stuff. Now, those 3 things should be the first things you do in a day. Because guess what? When the day starts, all that happens is we go into the land of the to-do and we go into the land of the admin. But actually, what you need to do, what will help you, what will your future self thank you about? What it will thank you about is that one day you actually concentrated on Christmas in April. So I would like you to take 3 of those post-it notes every single day. Now, of course, you're not going to nail each 3 post-it notes, but this is the principle, because our anxiety is built because we are not dealing with those post-it notes at all any point in time. So every single day, and my other thing for you to do, so I would do 3 of those big ones. I would do 3 classic to-do lists, and I would do 3 admin. Now, it's a very simple way of looking at it, but it has worked for me always. 3, 3, 3. If you manage to get those 9 things done in a day, you have absolutely nailed your day. Then the principle happens tomorrow. Maybe from doing that future thinking post-it note, it needs to break down into a couple of the to-do list candidates, right? Do you see what the thing? And then that might have become an admin. So you can keep adding. Write then those things down on a notepad and only concentrate on those things of the day, not the post-it notes. That's where you've collected the pool of ideas. And the other thing, before I move on this subject, is in lockdown number 1, I started, because of SME SOS, getting up so early. I'd never done that before. And actually found it hard to even, like when Harry was leaving to school, I wasn't sometimes up. I now get up at 6:30 every single morning. And I'm not going to be one of those not nauseating. I'm actually very jealous. So I don't mean nauseating. But when I hear business leaders get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, a lot of them are men. I think, I need to get up even earlier. So all I would say is I'm going to try now and move my 6:30 to 6 a.m. because the sun is shining. It's light. It's feeling different, isn't it? The amount that I get done in the hour and a half before the house wakes up is what sets my day apart. I basically almost could feel sometimes by 9 a.m. I've done my day's work. So that's when you're concentrating on the right things. It's when you can write that long email that you need to write. Get yourself some lemon and water, get yourself the candle on, and go into the 3 things that would drive your business forward if you can at an earlier time. Now, it could be that you're a night owl, right? And it could be you're like me. You're a morning little mouse and a night owl and a daily hummingbird. Christ knows what. Right, so those are the things that I would say about time management. Let me just see what you guys are saying at the moment. Here we go. The inappropriate thoughts store. Love that. Good morning, Holly. Absolutely loved yesterday, and it was the boost that I needed. Wouldn't you love one? Good morning. I'm here for the juice. Lou Template, morning, Holly. So grateful for you being here for this community today. I am here every day, 10 o'clock. Happy home learning. Good morning. I love my visit to your shop on my trip to London recently. How lovely. Cooking with Ginny, pivoting. Yes, I really need to do this. I'm sitting in the sunshine, ready for your inspiration. Well, it's coming. Fenton Yard's Flowers, a perfect live for me to listen to while making all the bouquets in my studio. What a great day. It is a great day. Francesca Kemp Textile Art. Good morning, everyone. So grateful for you doing this again, Holly. I'm here to serve. Floral Grace Clothing. Good morning. Got this in my diary for every morning. I'll be turning my business around. Dartmoor Artist. Holly, I put all things I need to do on a dart board and then find the greatest joy throwing a dart at the things I've completed. I love that. I remember Levi Roots on the podcast spoke about how he would pick the areas that he would bring his sauce to, or go and try and get his sauces into the supermarkets by taking a map of England and throwing a dart. And wherever the dart landed, that was his strategy for his distribution. There you go. Thimble and fabric. Love the idea of the time management, Holly. I've got my post-its ready, but always dive into the to-dos. This is what we all do, because the to-dos are easy. Admin ultimately is easy. So we're wired to want to feel like we progress things. So we get rid of the hard stuff for another day, and another day never comes. I'll be mixing up my priorities. Thank you. Right. So we're going to also today, as you know, we're going to be dealing with the main topic today, which is actually looking in the mirror. And this is when you might need to be pivoting your business or changing the dial. Can I just note, can everybody here text a small business or WhatsApp or send a message to a small business in these comments, wherever it is? Let's invite more people onto this program, because the more we are together, the more you can help your fellow founder, the stronger we are. So can I ask everybody to do that right now? So one of the things that we need to look at is sometimes, I had a school group in yesterday, and they're studying internal factors and external factors. And a guy right from the start said, "What are the Russian sanctions doing for you?" And I was like, "Whew, that is a heavy opening question." So we've got our external factors. We all know this, don't we? We all know we've gone from Brexit, we know we've gone into a pandemic, and we know we've gone into war. Those are external factors. We can do very, very little about it. But our internal factors, us, what we do, we have all the control in the world. We are 100% the boss. So I'd like to ask you, have you looked in the mirror lately with your business? Now, this is an uncomfortable, but remember we spoke about yesterday, being comfortable with the uncomfortable. So this is the uncomfortable question for everybody. Are you doing your best work? Have you found yourself in a place that you never ever started in? Are you using the skills and talents you have to its maximum potential right now? When you look at your product range, you look at the service that you're providing, you look at the store that you have, you look at the, the way that you run your hairdressers, whatever it is, are you doing your best work? Because I don't know if anyone else is going to ask you that question. And that's exactly why I'm here. Because I'm your virtual cheerleader. I am your virtual founder. I am the person who absolutely cares and believes in you. But who else is going to turn around and basically say, are we really, really doing what it takes to be the best at what we do? Because I actually believe that potentially you're not. And one of the things, and remember, we're talking about breaking up our sessions into, so today is about reflection. Today is about pivoting. Today is about turning the dial. Have you found yourself making key rings and actually you're an incredible artist? Have you found yourself doing something that worked in lockdown 1 and you thought that maybe that was going to continue and it isn't? Have you found yourself doing subscription boxes and now no one is subscribing? Whatever it is, I want you to actually have a proper look at your business. Would you buy what you create? Would you come to your restaurant? Have you actually asked friends and family what they really, really think? Right? Because it's very, very difficult for people to tell us these things because it's our baby, right? We think that they've got 20 heads if they don't like what we do. But I would like you to invite feedback with love. Remember yesterday we said if you could then say to a small business that you receive an amazing product from, I love this, but it would be even better if your packaging almost took my breath away because I felt like your packaging didn't represent the product that you had. Whatever it is, I want you to feel that you can, give that feedback to your fellow small businesses. As long as it's with kindness, you can go and ask people for that intervention, that help. Something's not working for me. Can you just go gentle on me? Go gentle. Tell me what you think. Am I doing my best work? And thirdly, look in the mirror, look at your business. Are you really at the optimal level of your talents? Okay, we're going to now talk to two people around this subject. Okay, and this is Will from Lilian Studio and Rebecca from Honeywell Biscuits. Frig, I've forgotten how to join everybody. Anyway, I'm just going to try it out because you know me, yeah, you know, I try and keep up with everything. Lilian May invite, Honeywell invite, invite, and then maybe it just all happens. I think it does.
Hello. All right.
All right. How are you?
Hello. Very well, thank you. Lovely to see you.
Lovely to see you. Look at that. It just frigging worked. I'm at one with technology, honestly. It's perfect. So, hello, both of you. Would you both introduce yourself? Will you start with you?
Of course, yeah, thank you. Hi, I'm Will from Lilian Studio. So we produce bespoke artwork as gifts, house portraits mostly, but we also do handmade art materials as well for, you know, for creatives, watercolors, ceramic palettes and so forth.
Oh, fantastic, Will. And Rebecca?
Hello, I'm Rebecca from Honeywell Biscuit Co. And we sell hand-iced biscuits, so really beautifully decorated biscuits for any occasion, and also baking kits that you can bake at home. Anything from a frugasse bread kit to a rainbow bagel to something for the children. So everything's baking.
Fantastic. Thanks, guys, for joining me on such late notice. I only decided 48 hours to do this, so it's so brilliant you found your time. You probably heard what we're talking about today. You know, we spoke a lot, didn't we, in lockdown about the P word, frigging pivoting. And everyone, didn't we? We all just went into this pivot land. We're coming out 2 years later. And I'm thinking that people, you heard what I was saying, are we doing our best work? Are we actually responding now to what the world is doing, wanting now, not what they were wanting in 2020? Rebecca, starting with you, what's your sense at the moment in terms of, you know, sales and, you know, how you're looking at the world before we get into that?
Well, for us, we did see a massive increase in lockdown. From the beginning, it was obviously very stressful. Suddenly Boris comes on and tells you not to go to work, and do go to work, and don't go to work, and do go to work. So we didn't know if we were supposed to go to work. So what we did is we closed for 5 days. We sorted everything out, and then we brought back a small team. And we found from the very beginning, people wanted to send things. We were all in it together. They wanted to post things to people. They wanted to connect in another way. So for those 2 years, we were really busy. Gift set sales rocketed, but then we lost all of our corporate sales. So there weren't no one doing events, no one doing store openings or press launches or anything like that. So it's been more challenging for us. We just went with it. We were busy, we just went with it. You know, we didn't have time to think. And then coming out of lockdown has been a lot more of a challenge. People have scaled back the gifting. They've been able to go out and see their mum on Mother's Day, to take someone for a meal. So it's now that we're seeing more of where we have to look at other avenues and other places than we did actually during lockdown.
That is brilliant. Thank you, Rebecca, for sharing that. And we're going to go on to how we're thinking about it. Will, what about you?
Yeah, very similar, really. So with lockdown, it was terrifying. The first 2 weeks, it went dead and it was awful. But then lockdown, you know, after that, it was wonderful seeing loads of customers got in contact and said, you know, we're placing these orders, you know, you couldn't keep us away, you know, and was so wonderful. And throughout lockdown, it was massive. It was absolutely huge, you know, scarily so, really. But, you know, I just couldn't thank the customers that I've had in the past coming back and supporting me through that. And then recently, and then it's kind of petered off. And I found since this past Christmas was very different. And obviously with Mother's Day now, it's very different, as in I think gifting is really dropping down So our kind of sales are selling to people kind of core things, so people who want to buy paints and ceramics and things because that's what they do all the time, rather than buying core gifts. It's been a big kind of change, I think.
And so for both of you, so Will, you're seeing this sort of shift in the actual customer in a sense, and then Rebecca, you're seeing that this 2 year of high had to come back to normality, right? And I think a lot of us businesses, we're feeling a lot of things. If you caught yesterday, we're in overwhelm. We've got Instagram changing. We've all built our businesses on social media, but just coming out of it all as well, you've basically got a sense that we were on the up. Us business founders, we felt like we'd made it. Everyone's seeing us and supporting us. And now we're going back to our realities. And that's also very difficult. Rebecca, I was saying about taking a look in the mirror. Yeah. I don't know if either one of you can share that. We at Holly&Co do this. We have different levers. We used to do events, and we couldn't do events. So we have another lever that we pull, that we will do more live events on Instagram. For you, when you look now at the future, are you having to ask yourself some hard questions? Because I want to try and help this community feel vulnerable, in a good way, vulnerable, that they can say, actually, what am I doing?
I think, like you said, there's a lot of changes. So when we used to put something up on Instagram, we take a nice picture of it, put it on Instagram, it'd get 1,000 likes. And now we put it up and it gets 100 or less. We've got to change that because we're really connected to our customers on Instagram. Always. Through lockdown, it really lifted. And like you said, we thought, right, that's it, we're busy, we've made it. Everyone likes our stuff, that's great. We've been here 10 years, so but and we've always steadily grown. It's been the first year that we've seen a drop, that we've gone backwards.
Yeah.
During that time, we've taken on more people. We've got big premises. We've got so we've got to think, okay, where else? What can we do? How do we change this? We do look at the product range. We do always look at how we develop that going forwards. What are people still liking? What's dropped off? What do we need to develop further? And yes, perhaps we're looking at the moment at a range of smaller, slightly cheaper options to bring people in, which we haven't done in the past. And the other thing we've done is wholesale, which we've never done before, partly because we're selling a biscuit half price essentially, and it's still all the same work. But looking at wholesale is another base layer that also increases marketing. More people get to see what we're doing. So yeah, it's looking at all those other options as well.
And I'm coming to you, Will, but there is a reality to everybody. We scaled our businesses potentially to keep up with that demand, and now again, you want to try and get back to that. And I'm almost wondering, and not to yourself, Rebecca, but do we have some unrealistic highs that actually we might never ever get back to? I was talking about not in the high street. They used to say it was Christmas sales every day. So this is bizarre, because that will not happen again. Will, for you, what about you in terms of we can add new strings to our bow, because you have diversified, haven't you, into almost self kits or the painting kits and experience side. Do you think sometimes what can happen to us founders is we keep moving the dial, that we almost don't know where we stand, back in 2019, do you almost lose ourselves to pivoting potentially too much or trying to chase things?
Yeah, well, absolutely. But it comes back, I think, to a point, and it's interesting really, because we're talking about this now, but I remember when you first started SME SOS 2 years ago, really clearly, in one of them you said, and you were being strong with people, you were saying, are you dreaming big enough? Are you dreaming big enough? And I was like, am I dreaming big enough? No. And it was so important, and it's really stuck with me. And that's one of the things I've pivoted, I suppose. I think, a couple major big, pivots recently, and it's due to that. And I keep on thinking, I remember when I first started doing the house portraits of people, I used to wake up in sweats thinking, this isn't scalable. I need to somehow
Yeah.
make this scalable. And I was always thinking about that. And then when COVID hit, I was thinking, okay, this could be kits that people could do. You know, I need to focus on it. But I thought, I can't make up kits with plastic things. I just can't do it. That's not what we're about.
Yeah.
So make them out of ceramics. And now recently with, you know, sales, the focus isn't on support small businesses anymore. And with gifting, that's not what people are thinking about anymore.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, what can I do to bring value to my followers? And I thought, well, do you know what? It's our core thing. You know, why I called it Lilian May in the first place, actually, is about giving really personal gifts. So for Christmas, I thought I'll open it up and offer to teach people how to paint their own gifts. And from doing that, it's been wonderful. I've really connected with the community. It's like a lovely way to just, you know, get our products out there, you know, and get them to creative people. And yeah, so I think, you know, that's a really important thing that you're bringing up at the moment.
Oh.
Are you dreaming big enough?
Yeah.
You know, have a good look at your business.
And maybe, you know what, I'm just thinking, you know, maybe this is not about pivoting. Maybe this is actually going back to saying, if I dreamt the biggest dream for Lilian May Studio, for Honeywell Bakes, what would that be? If I went right to the top and said, what would it be? And then you put all the strands underneath it. Is that not the pivots right there that you could be making? It's almost like when we say pivot, it's sometimes, it's like, I do something and now I'm going to do something else. It doesn't feel like it's planned. And potentially that also gives people stress, because actually you're feeling like you're jumping into things. Whereas actually, I love that, Will. If we actually go, should we put the dream back on the page? Should we actually go, what is the biggest dream that we almost can't get to? And then work underneath it. Maybe those are all your pivoting points. And actually maybe pivoting is almost like a taster menu. You do know what I mean? Like you need to, like, Rebecca, what about, what am I saying here? That does that resonate with you? Because it's almost, do you feel sometimes that you have to move with the tide, and almost that is stress in itself?
I think so a bit. I think there's also a lot of merit in believing in what you do and not changing it too quickly. If you feel that what you've got as a core is something that will work, perhaps just the right people don't know about it, or you haven't told enough people, or something. So I think there's something to be said in persistence as well. But perhaps what we tend to do in terms of product development is have a look at what's happening in the wider world and what people are interested in. Obviously during lockdown, everyone started baking bread. So, you know, we already had lots of bread kits. It was a good time to start. And I started as well. I started doing sourdough all the time and, you know, getting more into it. So I think I think pivoting is, yeah, like you say, sometimes mental. So sometimes it's just, it's resilience sometimes, rather than massive change, or it's thinking about the smaller things. We're working towards being a B Corp, so we're well on the way to that, and hopefully it won't be long now. But how do we?
I said that, Rebecca, two years ago.
We're told it should be by June. I don't know.
If you get yours before we get ours, I mean, I'm just literally going to. We've just been waiting and waiting. Have they come back to you yet with a whole list of things to relook at?
We've had the first review,
Okay.
and then they sent back to us by June with the second review.
Oh, okay. You might be in front of us in the queue. Anyway, all I'm saying is it's 2 years, and I keep going, I think next month we'll get it. Next month we'll get it. But anyway, I interrupted you.
Yeah, I think, but it's smaller things. So we've looked at pivoting in that kind of way. How can we really make sure that we really truly are being as sustainable as we can? How can we really look at eliminating harmful things, or ordering our supplies from people that we know are doing good? So it might not look hugely different on the outside, but we know now that all of our flour comes from a farm that regeneratively farms, that supports wildlife, that doesn't use pesticides, and no one else would notice that in the kit if we don't tell them. But those small changes that I think people probably come back to us because they know that we genuinely are making an effort with those kind of things.
I think you bring up a really good point there, and Will, what you were saying, which is, you thanked people in the first lockdown, you know, for coming back to you, and they said we wouldn't ever not. If you think about Seth Godin and this 1,000 true fans, and you're saying actually correctly, Will, you know, maybe shopping small businesses is not on the top of everybody's mind, but we're going to do a session in SME SOS about conversion. You know, actually you do have a list of other customers that have been with you. Are you reconverting them to shop with you again? Because, you know, and I'm going to look up some statistic that we can all remember easily, but, you know, to get a new customer is probably 10 times harder than converting your existing customer. And so there is something about that, isn't there? Where if you have done the dreaming big enough, if you'd worked out your pivots, if you'd looked at that, are you telling your existing customer, and it knocks on, doesn't it, about Instagram, because we are trying to tell people things, but only 10% of our followers are seeing anything we're doing, is actually converting the existing customer. Well, what are you thinking about along those lines in the future for you? So you're almost going, okay, I understand that people aren't coming to small businesses for gifting, so I'm going to do something different. But do you think that's a long-term plan?
Well, yeah, I think so. I think it's interesting what you're just saying, because that's what I was asking myself as well. You know, we have wonderful customers, and also just people who don't necessarily buy from us very often, who interact with us, you know, through the website or through Instagram. I was thinking, you know, what are we doing for them? Do we have products that they can buy every week? You know, do we have that? We don't. So so what we're doing at the moment is we're making little half pans. I'll show you. Little ceramic half pans with paint in. Now, I don't think anyone else does these, but they used to do these.
Hold it up a bit higher.
Sorry. Where's the camera? Here. So it's a ceramic half pan. I'll show you one of the empty ones. It's got Lilian made up on it. Oh, you can't see it. But anyway, they're heathered. And we're really proud of them. There's everything different to do. But, you know, our customers need to buy a top-up paint of blue every now and again.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure we've got things for them that they can buy as often as they want, small things. And we're also developing really big, hopefully, you know, the B&A in 50 years products that are absolutely beautiful, that people can spend an absolute fortune on. We just want to, you know, we've got wonderful customers, and we want to kind of, you know, to bring them in and give them everything that they could hope for, really.
I think you both mentioned some really good ideas there, where it's not just about the you know, Honeywell Biscuit Co. You know, you're looking at the big picture, you're creating what society might need, and almost what we would have called pivoting towards whatever people are looking at. But at the same time, we're talking about having entry-level products, because you just said that, you know, you don't normally do that. Entry-level products that then I can come back to you if I like you over and over again, to then some kahuna burgers, right? Some big ones, right? So that you can look at that. And do you think that the now, when you look at this community and why we're doing SME SOS, is because people are having a freaking hard time, you know, really having a hard time. What would you say, Rebecca, for you is going to be the anchor to getting out of this? You know, is it concentrating on your existing customer? Is it trying new things? Like, what do you think is going to be your recipe?
I think it is. I think it's concentrating on our customers, making sure our emails are the best they can be, because they're people that have signed up, that want to be there. We're not getting the reach on social, so we've got to look at how we contact the people who we know want to hear from us. So whether that's segmenting the lists really carefully to make sure that people get a tailored email to something they're interested in, or for example, if people buy a lot, we send them a different email to people that haven't bought for 2 years. And really try and build that. There's also, yes, looking at what other products we can offer people, whether there's something missing in the ranges. And I think a certain degree of persistence and optimism. We've been here a long time. We're not going away. We'll do what we have to do if necessary. We've literally just taken on a massive new bakery. So we've got to make it work. You know? Not going to stop. We've also done other things, like we've started to contact different people who we think might like to order biscuits for whatever reason. We have never done that before. So for example, if there's a school that we think, oh, maybe for their open day they'd like to have these, we've contacted them, and people have come back. So I think it's sometimes a case of looking around, getting out there. Who else might be a customer? You can't reach out to individuals, but if you work with business to business, you can find businesses, you can connect to them. We're working on LinkedIn a bit more. And the other thing is Google Ads. We do Google Ads, and we're really trying to make sure we're getting the most out of that we're targeting it, that we're on the smart shopping, and when we're getting a good return on ad spend, then we're scaling it.
Yeah.
So that as well, just making sure we're reaching people.
Brilliant. And Rebecca, some of the things you just said there, just to let everybody know, on SME SOS, we're going to be covering email marketing. So we're going to be getting another absolute expert, even though you're sounding pretty much like an expert there. But we're going to be getting...
Yeah, but I've got a book actually that my phone is balanced on. But it's called Do Open by David Hyatt. And I'm sure you've spoken to him.
I have. Yes, he's on my podcast.
Good, quick book to read if you're interested in email.
Right. Holes on HQ. Let's story that afterwards. Such a good recommendation. So we're going to be covering emails, where we're going to get some experts on to talk about that subject. We're going to also be covering digital advertising, so Google Ads. So we're going to be doing a session on that. We're also going to be doing a session on conversion. So actually converting existing customers to shop again. And remember, there are some really cool rules. You know, if you get a customer over 2.5 times, 3 times shopping with you, they're probably going to shop with you for life if you keep your email communication brilliant with them. If they shop once, you've got to get them to shop again, because once is not enough to get them to become a loyal customer. So just to see us out, Will, what are you thinking about? So if you thought about, you know, that dreaming high, what are the things that you're going to concentrate on to go through this era, this change that we're seeing?
So one of the main focuses is, and it's again thanks to you and your wonderful thing, but doing live video. So we do, yeah, thank you. We do a live paint along every Saturday at midday, and it's, you know, it's small, but we have an amazing group of people who come every single week. And we all paint along together. And I'm investing in my website. I want it so you can go on the website and download the sketches for free, and, you know, and paint along, you know, for free, obviously. But I want that to be an interactive place on the website. I want more of a community. I really want to do a email to people that's kind of, you know, that talks about the community as well. There's loads of wonderful artists. You know, I'm lucky enough that lots of people do buy some of our products and join, you know, the paint-alongs. So it'd be wonderful to amplify them. So I think that kind of community thing, and also just, you know, getting Lilian May Studio out there a bit more, which is terrifying and awful. Before doing the live videos, I didn't have a picture of myself on my Instagram thing at all. So, you know, just kind of getting out there, I think, and, you know, trying to make the most of it. And appreciating the community as well, you know.
Yeah, and Will, you make a good point there, and Rebecca, you said it as well. You know, ultimately, everybody, as small businesses, we have got to be salespeople, right? You know, as uncomfortable as it might feel, you know, making that call to that school and saying, hey, I think that you could do this. Rebecca, that could be then a yearly order that they will place with you, because actually they don't want to do something else. They never thought it in the first place, but you gave them that idea. You know, Will, what you're looking at, you know, actually, you know, selling, getting yourself out, getting a photo of you, and now you're on live. Do you know what I mean? Like, no stopping you. But the point is that we are salespeople. We have to be salespeople. We have to sniff out opportunities and go for them. You know, in America, I think they would call it hustling. You know, we're so slightly reserved sometimes. And ultimately, we have got to be boring the socks off everybody we see to see if there's an opportunity. You know, I always do, and I'm not going to do it live, but I always do a little piglet, maybe sniffing to the team, right? And we call it truffle hunting, right? So I'm just always do that, and the team go, oh my God, never do that on a live, Holly. And I'm like, one day I will. But you know, you have to sniff out the opportunities as a small business, because we are the mother lions, aren't we? As you said, Rebecca, 10 years you've been doing this. Will, how long have you been doing this?
Just over 2.
Just over 2. So there's no way we're going to let these things go, are we? We're not going to go back to corporate jobs. We're not going to do that. So it falls on our shoulders to hustle, to do the right thing for our companies. You guys have been the best guests. The amount of freaking hell, I've just got to read out the comments now because I've just forgot to do this. Holly's Gin, wow, this is so helpful. Have been exactly the same situation as Will. Emma Jackalone Textiles, that's a really good point, Will. Pivot can be mental, but not product pivoting. Oh, pivoting could be a mental pivot, not just a product pivot. Royal Needlework, your lives are so inspirational for the Royal School of Needlework. Thank you for your guests too. Woo! Serendipity Seacrafts, going back to the core of what you aspired to be before all of this. Brilliant idea. Bieber London Jewelry, I feel so invigorated listening to this. Stitched by Sisters UK, we started pivoting by involving other small businesses in our products. Love Livy 2020, I think this is general online feeling for both big and small businesses. The pandemic made us all pivot again and again and again. It did, didn't it? It was good for the fact that some of us were a bit slow before the pandemic. So maybe we needed a royal kick up the arse. But actually now we keep thinking, unless we change every week, we're not doing something right. And you said that, Rebecca, you know, being strong in who you believe you are and sticking to it. Solov and Love, so glad I found this live stream. Bloom Paper Flowers UK, this is a breath of fresh air. Time to get my big girl pants on and be brave and organised. Kirsty Steele Fitness, I love how you keep it real, Holly. Frigging love you. Love you back, Steele Fitness. I bet you're very fit and I'm not feeling so fit. I did my first workout in a long time and I can hardly walk. Questions, quick fire questions because I need to move on. Katerina, Rebecca, how far into the future do you plan?
In my head, 10 years. On paper, I don't write anything down. I'm not such a planner, but we do look ahead. I've got people around me who prefer to plan. So we plan about 9 months ahead on paper of kind of what we're expecting to do. In my head, I'm 10 years away.
10 years away. You're in the land of where, yes, gosh, what is your land you're in? Will, how often do you plan in the future?
Well, 1 year properly, and then, you know, a second year broader really, and then 10-year big dreaming.
Okay, and Borrow and Nest, how do you know when it's time to pivot or just keep trying? Rebecca, 1 minute answer.
Very good question. I think go with your gut on that one. For me, if I love something, I really love a product, I'm sure everyone's going to love it, but they're not buying it yet. We need to look at other ways to get it to them or other ways to photograph it or film it or something. So I think it's going with your gut, perhaps. And
Will?
I think do both. I think just, you know, try and, you know, discover more. It's there already, the new pivot. Just try and catch hold of it, you know.
Yes, I know. I totally agree with you there. Guys, brilliant. Thank you so much for dropping everything and being here. Thank you, Rebecca.
Oh, pleasure.
From Honeywell Biscuits Company, and thank you, Lilian May Studio, for joining me. And yes, have brilliant days.
Thank you, Holly.
Oh,
lots of love, you too.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Right, we're going on to, I'm going to talk about Instagram and what you need to all remember. Okay, we've got some changes to Instagram that I'm announcing here, but let's quickly go through the budget and what you need to know. Get your pencils, paper, pens ready. So yesterday was the spring budget. So what you need to know is, 1, the employee's national insurance earnings threshold has increased to be the same as income tax. What that means is from July, employees will start paying 12% national insurance on earnings of £12,570, up £3,000 from £9,568. So for someone earning, let's say, £20,000, it means an annual national insurance cut of £180 in 2022 to 2023 instead of an £89 rise that was expected before the announcement. Second point, small business employment allowance, okay, which gives relief to small businesses' national insurance payments, will increase from £4,000 to £5,000 from April. Have you applied for it? If not, go and check it out. That is the employment allowance for small businesses. Whilst we're on the budget, I thought I'd remind you of a few things that happened in the autumn. Let's put a few more things here on our pieces of paper. There continues to be a reduction in business rates with a 50% business rate discount for retail, hospitality and leisure sectors from April 2022 to March 2023, right? Do you know about this? Have you applied for it? Make sure you do. The minimum wage increase up from £8.91 to £9.50 will be effective from the 1st of March 2022. So please note that down. You do not want to be caught out with that. VAT rates will be back up to, unfortunately, pre-COVID levels of 20% from the 1st of April 2022. If you are VAT registered, you need to watch out for this. Back in autumn, the Chancellor did announce the Levelling Up Fund. Okay, so this is another thing I want you to go and Google, the Levelling Up Fund. So it's ploughing investment into local areas across the UK, along with a super deduction for investment. So do look out on these further and see if there's anything that is applicable for you. If you do not go and search for these things, money off, money off, money off, you know, what are you doing? You need to go and quickly look at them. You might want to poke your eyeballs out. That's fine. It's 5 minutes. Get yourself a cup of tea and a biscuit. That's always my answer to do these things. And I'm going to be also doing a dedicated finance session in a couple of weeks. So let me know if you have specific finance questions. And we're going to also be looking at not just business finance. I'm going to give you some top tips about saving money personally, because when things are shit, that's ultimately what we're panicking about. Can we afford our rent? Can we afford our mortgage? Can we afford to live? So we're going to be giving from the community the top 5-10 tips about how to save money personally. So we got some Barloom. I'm going to be talking about Instagram now. Barloom Vintage. This has really made my day. Thank you. What a lovely thing to say. The Dowden Forest Fairies. I mean, you made your fairy draw SME SOS logo. I adore you. And you came to the shop and I wasn't there. And I just want to send you all my love to you and the fairies. As always, brilliant advice, Holly. So encouraging. Small biz site. So pleased I came to this. Thank you, Holly, for doing this. So helpful. Happy Planet Designs. Thank you all. That was really helpful. Right. Everyone got your notepad. This is about Instagram, so you're going to want to know about it. There are 2 new terms that you need to get to know when it comes to Instagram. Favorites and following. 2 new ways to choose what you will see in your feed. Now, of course, what you will see in your feed, but what will every single one of your followers be doing? Now, ultimately, what you want to be is one of the people that they favorite to be in their feed. So your Instagram feed is a mix of photos and videos from people you follow, and so they suggest accounts, don't they? So over time, what's going to happen is Instagram is going to add more recommendations to your feed based on your interests. So favoriting and following are the new ways to catch up on recent posts from accounts you follow. So Instagram favorites shows you the latest from accounts you choose, like your best friend or your favorite creators, right? Plus posts from accounts in favorites that will show higher on your feed, right? This is a big change for them. So you can add up to 50 accounts in your favorites list and make changes at any time. People are not notified when they're added or removed. Okay, so this is what you want to do. You want to ultimately be in that 50. That is what you've got to do. So this is why your content is so important that you're putting out. So Instagram following shows you posts from people you follow. Both favorites and following will show you posts in chronological order so you can quickly catch up on recent events. So if I can't help it, you know, Will, Rebecca, we spoke about hustling. If you want to know the advice that we give every single day, will you please add me as one of your favorites? That's all I'm asking. At Holly Tucker, please add me as one of your favorites. And maybe by doing that, you can test out what I'm talking about here and make sure that you're talking about to your loyal fans about adding you as a favorite. But I'm just going to put my hand up first. Will you add me as a favorite? So let me know what you feel about that change. Okay, so I think that is, let me read out some comments. we've got, thank you for asking the questions that need to be asked. That's Story Chaplain. Let us know anything, DM me, let me know if you've got some questions that you didn't want to put out here today. Oh, you're already a favourite, Holly. I've already put you as a favourite. Oh, you lovely people. Look, you're way ahead of me. Come on. The things I'm taking away today, what would they be? One, do we look at pivoting in the same way? Is pivoting actually, as Will said, putting your dream really high up, drawing some lines down from your dream and looking at the next level of that big dream? So that could be from going wholesale, that could be opening your own stores, that could be starting a magazine, that could be starting a podcast, that could be having a price range of £15 that you've never looked at. It could be, as Will said, getting into the V&A. Have you actually looked at the top lines? Is that now what we're calling pivoting? When you can jump from one of those things each day and try and build each part of that? Is that the future thinking that we were talking about, the post-it notes? So sometimes also, as we spoke about, there's mental pivoting, which is what we dealt with yesterday. Please do go and look at my Coach Kate session, because guess what? Quitting is not the answer. You carry the same shit with you. You're in a different land, maybe a corporate land, and you will have the least control of your lives compared to what you have now. So quitting is not an option, as Rebecca is saying. It's about being eternally optimistic, you know, about driving hard, about protecting. The other thing I'm going to be taking away about is, and we're going to do a session on this, is your long-term customers. If you have any customers at all, they are worth more to you than new customers. So we spend a lot of time trying to get out there and get new and get new and get new, except what our existing customers have got dust on their heads. You know, is that right? The point is that you can convert an existing customer in a better way and in an easier way than getting a new customer. And we're going to be doing these sessions because ultimately what you want to do is get that frequency up. You know, when big businesses are looking at things, they're looking at the return customer rate as much as the acquisition of customer rate, but then they're looking at their behavior. The behavior is that you want the frequency to go up. If you get that frequency up, I'm telling you now, it absolutely changes your life. Because what we all want is a foundation of customers, don't we? We want a foundation of customers that are by themselves, maybe with your email prompt, maybe with your social media prompt, but by themselves, they love you so much they want to come back. Because that allows you to have that safety net of returning customers. By that point, you can maybe start to look at new. So maybe you just wanted to have a little think about that. And the other thing I would say is I want you to really take a look in the mirror. As I started this SME SOS, I want you to go after, be comfortable with uncomfortable. Okay, no one wants to get feedback. No one wants to say, you know what, this product, I like it, but I've actually never liked the colors here. No one wants to say, I like this restaurant, but actually I don't think necessarily the food is as good as you could create. No one wants to hear it, but that feedback is what will save you. Have you also looked at yourself? Are you creating things you're not proud of? Are you jumping on bandwagons that you absolutely hate? Are you not going back to the core of what makes you happy? Because remember, you know, when they say happy mummy, happy baby, it's like happy founder, happy business. You know, that's exactly the same thing. Your energy you're pumping in is so important. So if you're not creatively fulfilled, if you're not actually doing what you're good at, it's going to show in your customer numbers. And believe you me, it sounds a bit hokey pokey and, you know, really, but I'm telling you right now, absolutely, your business is literally a mirror of how you're feeling and how you're conducting yourself, you know, and I'm telling you, I've seen it for 20 years. Happy mummy, happy baby, happy founder, happy business. You've got to remember that. So take a big look at them in the mirror, rip off some plasters, ask for some kind feedback, ask them to go gentle. And I want this session to be the one where you reflect on what you're doing, that we can't keep blaming the world. for what's happening with us. Slugs and snails, we didn't come this far to only come this far. Woo! That's an Instagram post, isn't it? Raising creatively, just added you to my faves, Holly. Thank you so much. Small biz site, so pleased I came across this, Holly. Thank you for doing it. The couple that bakes. I was reading your book in bed last night. I'm literally hooked. Thank you so much. That book was a massive, do what you love what you do. It was pouring out of my heart to all of you. So if you haven't got it, I think it's worth a read, and so does The Couple That Bakes. Bristol Market, you need to be in a good place mentally for feedback. It can be brutal. Absolutely it can. But I think go for feedback. But I want you to be really honest with the person giving you feedback. This is not a time where they can have a sick, lovely moment where they literally annihilate you. Don't go to those people. We're not interested in those people. We're talking about people who care for your heart. And then when you give them permission, you can trust that they're going to be kind and gentle with you and just help you. But sometimes it is hard. And I want you to live with that uncomfortableness, because it is hard. But in a week's time, you might swallow that bitter pill and do better work. Track 21 Interiors, Holly, I will be adding you to my favorites. Could you explain how to do this one more time? Good question. Guess what? Holes from our team at Holly & Co will be doing some screen grabs about exactly how to do this, okay? So watch out for stories today. We're going to tell you exactly how to do this. Right, everybody. I'm off, and tomorrow we have got, I want you to join me 10 till 11 tomorrow. We are going to be sharing 3 small businesses are going to be coming on, and they're going to actually be telling us what they're struggling with in their businesses right now, what they're doing about it, okay, and what questions that they have not answered. And I think this is a really important one, because the more that we're hearing different examples of the struggles in different businesses, the more we're hearing how that founder is using their minds to overcome them, which might then spark a light bulb for you. So we're going to have some really vulnerable speaking tomorrow, where we're going to go into the things that aren't working. They know it's a safe space. So tune in at 10 o'clock. So you can really hear from these founders who are going to be brave enough to talk about what's going wrong and what they're doing about it. And then on Monday, everyone, we have got amazing Jack, who is the CTO of Lush, coming on board, along with one of his absolute brainiacs from the team about social media. And the interesting thing about that is they have come off Instagram completely. I wonder how they're going to join me. But anyway, they come off Instagram completely. They've come off Facebook, TikTok, everything. They have gone cold turkey on social media. And I bet you want to know what's happening. I bet you want to know what their strategy is. And I bet you want to know what they think that they can do to mitigate their lack of exposure on Instagram. Well, you're going to hear all of this on Monday. So join me tomorrow, join me Monday, and let's get this all sorted. Lots of love to you.